when a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
Oh my God.
Please listen carefully.
She's as funny as Lucy and she's in the know. She's as smart as Phil and always on the go. It's the Patsy Hoolahan Show.
Oh, my. Well, Mr. Donald Lemon really put his foot in his mouth this time. And saying that Nikki Haley is out of her prime to become president because she said that anybody over 75 should get a cognitive test or something before they become president.
I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s. That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s.
So, of course, because he hates Republicans, Mr. Lemon, he had to say a sexist thing. Can you believe it? I do.
And you get caught up. I don't necessarily think he was 100% trying to insult all of women, but he did. And it's not fair. Mm-hmm. It's not fair for us because we always are limited. You guys get better as you get older, and women are done at a certain age. If men were honest, they'd be like, yeah, that's too old for me. Mm-hmm. Like, age appropriate. Men are rarely dating age appropriate if they're dating.
It's hard. If you've covered these things, you know how it is. It's hard to run for president. We're going to see how they do. And then you're going to decide at the debates and other forums whether they seem like they got it.
Well, and as Don Lemon told us on CNN, women actually can't run for president because he said we're past our prime once we get to our 40s. But since you have to be 35 to run, it's like this really tight window between 35 and 40.
Well, a lot of women justifiably are of a certain age are pretty upset.
You're too young.
This is blatant sexism, and shame on him for doing this on the air. And frankly, those other women on set with him were pathetic and weak in calling him out. He deserved a more robust response. He deserves it now from the colleagues at CNN. He deserves it from the colleagues in the news industry and the bosses at CNN.
Made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful and irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones have pointed out, and I regret it. A woman's age does not define her, either personally or professionally. I have countless women in my life who prove that every day. Is that enough for you as an apology?
Look, this is something that I have faced all of my life. It was Don Lemon yesterday, it was Whoopi Goldberg the day before, there will be somebody else tomorrow. I have always made the liberals' heads explode. They can't stand the fact that a minority, conservative female would not be on the Democratic side because they know I pull independents. They know I pull suburban women. They know I pull minorities over to what we are trying to do. And look, he made that comment. I wasn't sitting there saying sexist middle-aged CNN anchors need to have mental competency tests, although he may have just proven that point. What I was saying is we need to be transparent. Those elected officials that are making key decisions for us Americans on national security and keeping our kids safe and the debt, yes, we need to know exactly that we're sending people that are mentally competent to do that.
I don't know what you said. I also think we live in these world of extremes where everybody is on the side, especially when it comes to politics. So Don is liberal, he's a Democrat. Nikki Haley is Republican, conservative. So instead of like him looking at what she said, because what she said is, hey, I think anybody over the age of 75 should have to have a mental competency test to run for president, to be president of the United States of America.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree with that. But he can't say that because he's so beholden to Democrats. He's so in love with the liberals. He's so in love with President Joe Biden. So he don't even want to seem like he's on the side of Nikki Haley.
Well, Miss Kathy had a reaction to it. She's like 50-something herself.
Oh my God! I am laughing too much. Oh my
Totally
God.
nuts. And especially because it comes from a gay man who's in his 50s himself. And I'm pretty sure that if you're gay and you're 50, you're kind of like not number one on the market either. But we're not even talking about sex. We're talking about a job, being the president. And sometimes when you get a little older, you've got a little more knowledge and you're smarter. Women have learned a lot. They're more mature.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying what the facts are. Google it.
Okay. So, if you don't shoot the messenger, if you Google it, Google tells you a woman is past her prime when she's after 20, 30, maybe 40, he says. If you Google CNN, it comes up as the most trusted news source. So we can't always rely on Google, Don. And I have to tell you, I'm so irritated by this guy. And honestly, his misogyny, and I don't use that word about a lot of people, but there's a pattern with him. The absurdity of suggesting that a woman is past her prime when she is 51 years old, like Nikki Haley. I just pulled just for fun, just for kicks, because you guys are both historians. Some of the best known women on earth in modern history. Margaret Thatcher, she was 54 when she became prime minister of Great Britain. Nancy Pelosi became Speaker of the House for the first time when she was 67. Past her prime, sorry, Nance. Kamala Harris was 55 when she became the Vice President of the United States. Ketanji Brown Jackson is 52, newly placed on the U.S. Supreme Court. While we're on the subject of Supreme Court, Elena Kagan was 50 when she was confirmed. Sona Sotomayor, 55 when she was confirmed. Mary Barra, CEO of GM, was 53 when she took over that role. She's now 61, but past her prime. Suzanne Scott over at Fox News became CEO of Fox when she was 51. Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube, she's 54. I could keep going. And by the way, what an insult to people like Dana Bash, who's 51, and his colleague at CNN. Sorry, past your due date. What does he mean by prime? The co-anchor had an instinct that this was offensive, but frankly wasn't effective enough to actually shove it down his throat.
So, you know what? It's a bunch of BS, Mr. Don Lemon. I'm actually of age, too. So, poop on you. Poop, poop, poop.